What's good, family? Kimberly Whalen here. My first video. It's good, YouTube family. I want to talk to y'all tonight about the state of this great country we live in, the United States of America. Of course, I'm a black male, so that's the only position that I can take as far as my feelings about the country that I live in. Um, of course, I have mixed feelings about it, but overall, from a personal standpoint, I'm okay with the country. There's no other country that I would rather be or live. Uh, there's no perfect place on the planet, and you definitely can't pick and choose where you're born. Um, of course, we have a dark history, and it's definitely rooted in racism and slavery. But I like to think that over the years, the needle has moved a little bit towards the black race, and you know, a lot of things have happened that's a good reflection on blacks. uh, Having an African American president, the whole civil rights and voting thing, and just in the workforce, equal opportunity, employment, and with that civil rights movement, the women has gotten their rights. So I can point to a lot of things and say America has tried to improve drastically from its ugly beginnings, but we still have a long way to go. Um, there's a lot going on currently in current events, as we can see, have a whole bunch of natural catastrophes happening, freaky winters in the oddest places, California, other parts of the country, but particularly in the Midwest and the West, crazy winter surges, blizzards, storms. Then in the other parts of the Midwest, in the eastern coast, you have chemical spills, trains getting off the trails and crashing and burning, deadly chemicals released in the air. It's a lot to think about, especially if you practice a particular religion or belief system. I wonder whatever belief system you choose to partake in, are they making you or us aware of what's going on in the country? And in fact, do we have a plan or solution as faithful, practicing religious people? I was raised as a Christian, and even though there are things in the Bible I do disagree with, there are a lot of things that I do agree with, and I also know of kind of the origins of how the Holy Bible was constructed, and I also know that there were a lot of books that were voted out. I said all that to say, from my perspective, which is kind of Christian based, the very last book of the Bible, Revelations, distinctly talks about such events in which we are experiencing presently, right now. And I frankly don't see a lot of preachers, pastors, reverends promoting any type of insight about the book of Revelations and how that book is relevant in the times that we're currently living in. Now, I don't want to pose a bad idea out there towards the church as far as it's like an agenda as to why they're not making it relevant or even discussing it. I'm just saying I haven't seen it via YouTube, Facebook, whatever. I don't see too many preachers actually contextualizing the book of Revelations and making it relevant hermeneutically as far as the times that we're living in now. And I think that's very important. I think that's very important because the world is changing. People are changing. And I feel like what's wrong with the world is a little more, a little bit more bad off than what we realize. And me personally, I think it takes a little more than just a particular belief system to get us out of this um, unaware state that we're in. I think the earth as a whole of a conscious organism is kind of sick and tired of humanity and how we've kind of neglected uh, how we treat Mother Earth in our endeavors and the things we build and create. We're destroying habitats of other living things that were here long before us. And that's just one aspect. Um, Another aspect, as I mentioned earlier, the weather, the frequent changing of the weather. It seems as if the seasons are confused. The earth really doesn't know how long winter should stay and how long summer should last. Spring and fall is a mystery. You can't really put a times table or a length on how long a season will last anymore. The sun doesn't shine the same as it did. You can contribute that to the multiple traces of chemtrails over the years that they're just spraying all over the sky. And we as humans, unaware most of the time, mistake them as clouds when they're really not. chemtrails. Mm, I think all of these things um, are are worth mentioning. Um, and I guess I can kind of speak to my Christian brothers and sisters that if we take a closer look at Revelation and the whole tribulation period and mark of the beast and how everything is kind of mirroring in the book of Revelation what we're beginning to witness. Even the wars and the rumors of wars. And we always have wars, but not at the capacity where we're actually considering a World War III, where the nations all over the world, every nation kind of has a stake at the same time and an interest at the same time. And you're forced to pick a side. Everything is coming to an end soon, I believe. And you can say it's an agenda, the government, but really, I don't see a clear action plan as far as how to combat the government if they do have an agenda. You know, we're outmanned, we're out resourced, and the agenda, if there is an agenda, the agenda has been in place long before we're here, and it seems to be in place. It's going to be in place long after we're gone. So I suggest looking more internally, uh, trying to consider spiritually how to prepare for what's to come, whether you believe Jesus Christ is coming for your return, or just the fate of man in totality lies in the government's hands, or you just believe in nature, Mother Earth. Either way, there's no escape for quote unquote wrath. The the chaos is evidence that something has to change the state of where we are now, spiritually and in this 3D dimension. Um, I honestly think that if we can come together uh, without the restrictions of race and start at gender base, you know what I mean? What I mean by that is it seems as if the world is in a state where there's like a battle of the sexes in this country in particularly. Um, it seemed like the male perspective and the female perspective, there's an imbalance and there's a misunderstanding. And like there's almost a projection of roles of the two. And I don't think there should be a defining role between a male and female. We are all different. God made us all different. Our DNA proves that. So with that, we have different personalities, different ideologies, different views um, that we should consider and respect. So in saying that, I feel There is one race, the human race, but biologically, we're different. And by us biologically being different, we have different functions. And I don't think that those functions should separate us, as in your function or my function is better than the other. There's a bigger picture here that I believe, and I feel that the old divide and conquer method is definitely at play, and uh, that divide and conquer is a sexism, a feminine and a masculine belief system. Um, I feel that the Bill Gates of the world, the Dr. Fauci's of the world, and the depopulation, excuse me, of the world and their agenda is playing huge part in what's going on with the world now. Even with getting the jab, is what I call it, the Jabberwocky. That is a clear example or clear evidence of what we should consider the mark of the beast. You know, um, you've seen evidence of it earlier. You know, consequences from not getting the jab. You know, as far as not being able to have employment if you work for the government, certain restrictions, travel wise, the whole nine. China with their situation, they're still in a lockdown situation. So it'll be a matter of time before I feel they'll try to implement that again times 10. And so I just really think if we consider for a second that we're all being played, male and female, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, American, Indian, Native American, uh, I feel like if we can all come together and agree on one common enemy, that would be a huge monumental moment. And we could really build and come up with a constructive plan that we can put into action today to save to save the people who woke up. A lot of legislation is being geared to attack our rights, the rights we have left. It seems as if the United States, as far as an economy, is not as strong as it has appeared over the years. Um, we are over $1 trillion in debt to China. That's a fact. So we have to consider that. So China mixed with their spy balloons and other technology, everything that we use tech comes from China, manufactured in China. Cell phones, smart cars, electric cars, laptops, tablets, you name it, televisions, flat screen, how we function. China plays a big role in that. So I really feel that we need to be mindful of how we live and how we treat each other, because the planet is not getting any better from what I can see. Um, how we treat the planet, how we just disregarded nature as if it's not significant. The animals don't even have a place to live anymore. They're running in the city, in urban neighborhoods, rural neighborhoods, in the city, looking for food, looking for a place to stay because builders are clearing out where they stay to build subdivisions and buildings. Like I said earlier, the chemical spills on the East Coast, in the Midwest, pollution, all man's fault. So I think those things are way more important than what mainstream news media tells us that what's important and what we really should be concerned about. We should be concerned about our planet and the state of which the planet we're in, and we need to do something about it. Uh, there are many ways to do that, and you don't necessarily have to have a belief system. So I I think the only belief system that should be important is love. Without love, there's not too much to fight for or to live for. Uh, love is a universal language and is something that can be demonstrated and immediately identified and detected. So if you don't even want to love somebody you don't get along with, you walk outside, see a piece of trash on the ground, pick it up, throw it away. You see some plastic on the ground, put it in the recycle bin. Love the earth first. If you just don't rock with nobody you mean, that's cool. But the first thing you can do is respect the planet. And I will hope after that, being that we all know that the planet is female, you, you could start by loving your mother, the one who gave birth to you. And just start like that. But the world as a whole, for the most part, without love, we done. And the people who really run this planet, who put millions of dollars in the space programs, they're not even considering this earth lasting. They've moved on. Talking about time travel, space travel, living on the moon, having space stations, ran by different countries in space, whole space cities. So space stations and international space stations. This is real. And I know it's real because by the recently added branch of government, the Space Force, it makes it legit. It makes it legit. I don't know, I don't claim to know a lot, but any person with any sort of decent common sense can see that time is moving at an all-time rapid pace. Like I said earlier, the sun doesn't even shine the same no more. It seems as if the sun, you don't even really get a chance to see a lot of sunlight. Like the days aren't long. So we'll see if that changes during the summer, but it seems like the whole atmosphere is changing. It's like our priorities and what we've been programmed to be concerned about doesn't even relate to what's really wrong. So entertainment, things we see on social media, the news, politics, um, movies, they're mostly distractions, man. Some movies are on point and try to hip you on what's going on with the world, but for most part, man, most of these movies, the directors are pushing the agenda behind it. You know what I mean? Trying to get you to consider another way of thinking, which is what we're all doing. But if it's not to improve life and starting by life on the planet, then it's null and void. Um, we have a lot of work to do, but we can do it. Um, it's something as simple as calling somebody who you've been mad at for a long time and just burying the hatchet. We don't know how will that affect our tomorrow and how that can just shift our reality to somewhere at a better reality, really. I really believe we all live multiple lives simultaneously, just on different dimensions. I believe that. So what we do on this dimension definitely factors in the transition to the next, or if we transition at all to the next dimension. We could be dense and sink to the second dimension. That could be, or the first, you know what I mean? That could be the punishment. I don't know. Or if there, I don't know. But I do know that ascension is what we're all seeking. You know what I mean? Spiritual ascension. So I love y'all. Pray for you guys. It's my first video, and I got plenty of more. All right.